All right, getting ready for your GCSE Citizenship exam? You are in exactly the right place. We're about to break down everything you need to know about law and justice from the Edexcel spec, so let's dive right in. First things first, just take a second and imagine a world with absolutely no rules. Seriously, no traffic lights, no agreements, no consequences for anything. It'd be total chaos, right? Well, that little thought experiment gets right to the heart of why we need a justice system in the first place. So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with society's rulebook, then look at the principles of fairness. After that, we'll explore the two paths of justice, peek inside the justice system, and finish up with the most important part, your role in justice. Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, Society's Rulebook. This is all about that huge fundamental question, why do we even have laws, and how do they actually affect our daily lives? So why do we need them? It's a key question for your AO1 knowledge. And look, laws aren't just about punishment. They're there to protect us, to make sure things are fair, and to stop discrimination. They give us a way to achieve justice, settle arguments, and even guide how we behave. And this is a big one, they have to adapt to new things like the internet, social media, or even AI. The law applies to you personally, and it changes as you get older. In England and Wales, believe it or not, the age of criminal responsibility is just 10 years old. That's a really important part of the youth justice system, which handles young offenders differently. Then at 18, you get all the rights of an adult citizen, voting, serving on a jury, the whole lot. These ages are all set to balance your rights with your protections. Okay, on to Section 2. Now let's look at what holds this all together. These aren't just random rules. They're built on some massive ideas, huge principles, all designed to make sure the system is fair for everyone. The first one, and maybe the most important, is the rule of law. This is the absolute cornerstone of a democracy. It means what it says. Nobody is above the law. Not you, not me, not even the Prime Minister. Everyone has to follow the same rules, which keeps people in power accountable. Next up, the presumption of innocence. This is a massive protection for every single citizen. It means the pressure is on the prosecution. The state has to prove someone is guilty. You don't have to prove you're innocent. It's a fundamental guard against people being punished for things they didn't do. And tied right into that is equality before the law. This principle means the legal system is supposed to treat everybody the same, no matter who you are, how much money you have, your race, or your gender. You know, the ideal that justice should be blind. And finally, access to justice. I mean, think about it. What's the point of having rights if you can't actually use them? This idea means everyone should be able to get legal help, like free advice when arrested, so that the system is there for everyone, not just people who can afford a fancy lawyer. So, where do all these laws actually come from? Well, in England and Wales, there are two main sources. First, you have legislation. These are the big formal laws made by Parliament, the acts you hear about on the news. But then you also have common law, which is actually made by judges. When a judge decides a case, it can set a precedent that other judges then follow. It's pretty cool because it lets the law grow and change over time. Let's move on to Section 3. Now that we know the big principles, let's look at the two main roads the legal system can take. And trust me, understanding the difference between criminal and civil law is absolutely crucial. This table is a brilliant way to see the difference. Criminal law is about behavior that harms society as a whole, like theft or assault. The case is brought by the state, and the end goal is some kind of punishment. Civil law, on the other hand, is all about sorting out private arguments, like if someone owes you money or you've had an accident. The goal here isn't to punish, but to find a remedy, usually like getting paid compensation. So let's actually step inside the system. Section 4 is all about the real people, the places, and the processes that make justice actually happen. You've got three main groups of people making it all work. The police, who investigate crimes and enforce the law. You've got judges and magistrates, who are the neutral decision-makers in court. And then you have legal representatives, solicitors and barristers, who give expert advice and argue cases for their clients. Each one has a very specific and important job to do. Okay, listen up, because this is so important to know. If you are ever arrested, the law gives you three fundamental protections. The police have to tell you why you're being arrested. You have the right to let someone know where you are, and you are entitled to get free, independent legal advice. These are not suggestions. They are your legal rights. For criminal cases, there's a clear system. The vast majority of cases, we're talking like 95%, are handled in the magistrates' court.
these are for the less serious or summary offences. But the really serious stuff, the indictable offences like murder or robbery, they're heard in the Crown Court, in front of a judge and a jury of 12 citizens.
And on the civil side of things, you've got the county court for most disputes and the high court for the really complicated cases. But you know what? It's not all about big, formal courtrooms. You've also got tribunals that deal with specific issues like employment rights and things like mediation, which helps people sort out their problems without the stress and cost of a trial. And that brings us to our final and, honestly, most important section, your role in justice. This is where we see how ordinary people are absolutely essential to making this entire system work. So, is justice just something that happens to us, done by police officers and lawyers? No way. Absolutely not. The system actually depends on normal people like you getting involved. Citizens play some really vital roles. Jurors in the Crown Court are the ones who decide if someone is guilty. Magistrates are trained volunteers from the community who make massive decisions in court. You can even volunteer as a special constable. Our justice system is literally built on the idea of being judged and helped by our peers. Now, being an active citizen also means getting involved with the big debates. This is where you need to put your AO3 critical thinking cap on. What's the real point of a sentence? Is it to punish? To protect society? To help the offender change? Is prison always the right answer? Or could things like community service or restorative justice work better? There are no easy answers here. And that, right there, is the key takeaway. A justice system that actually works is not a spectator sport. It needs citizens who understand how it works, who know their rights and responsibilities, and who are willing to get involved in the debates that shape the society we all live in. Okay, so for your revision, here are the 4 absolute must-know points. 1. Laws are here to protect us and keep things fair. 2. The whole system is built on huge principles like the rule of law. 3. Know the difference between criminal and civil law. And 4. You have rights and you also have responsibilities. So I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Now that you understand the basics of how it all works, if you could change just one law to make our society fairer, what would it be? And why? Answering that question, well, that's the very heart of active citizenship.